Get ready with me to tell you about my mom cheating on my dad with the school's resource officer, because telling strangers on the internet is cheaper than therapy. Little backstory, my mom is a guidance counselor at a high school, which is crazy because social services was always at our house, and there are actual court documented cases of abuse, like child abuse. So it's crazy that she's even there. Like, one of the things that I can say is, like, in 3rd grade, she gave me a black eye, which is probably one of the most tamest things that I'm able to say on this app of things she has done to her children. Anywho, so this story starts, if anybody saw my last story about her secret liposuction, this story starts with her kind of, I didn't talk to her for a long time, and then I gave in and decided to talk to her, so we all went out to dinner. Yes, this is where I remember the story starting. We all went to dinner. Okay, so we're at this restaurant. It is me, my mother, my boyfriend, my older sister, my younger brother, and my older sister's friends that she goes out with, like, once a week, or did, or I don't know. Anyway, so we're all sitting there, and the vibes are really weird, but that's not really odd, because my mother has some weird-ass vibes. Like, just being around her is so insufferable, and I hate to say that about somebody, but, like, good lord. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and I kind of noticed she's trying to joke with me, but, like, in weird ways, and she's saying really weird stuff. So one of the things that she was saying that was, like, really weird is she kept referring, like, oh, I'll have to talk to my boyfriend about it. You know, that stupid white woman laugh. Anyway, which was funny because, it wasn't really funny, but it was funny because, obviously, we know she's married to my dad. So we're like, okay, and then she's like, keeps saying weird stuff along the lines of, like, my boyfriend, my boyfriend, my boyfriend. And I hate to beat around the bush, so I'm always the one in the family that, like, brings something up, like, is talking about the elephant in the room. So I looked at her and I was like, do you actually have a boyfriend? Like, is there something you need to tell us, boo? And she was like, oh, how dare you? So, anyway, she then gets really quiet because I think she realizes, like, she's saying too much. But then, like, I notice that she's, like, on her phone. She's next to me, but she's on her phone, and she's, like, turning her body so I can't see. So I'm being super nosy, and I'm, like, looking over and, like, looking over. I cannot see the name that's on the screen, but I can see that, like, she's flirting with somebody, and it's not my dad. So I can't see the name, but I see the initials. So at this point, I'm keeping the initials in my mind, which is a little difficult because we were all drinking, except for my little brother because he's not old enough. We were all drinking, which isn't weird for us because that's the only way my family can get along. But we were all drinking, so then we start to leave, and one of my sister's friends was not drinking, so she was like, hey, do you all want to hang out with him tonight? Like, we can continue to go out, do things, but it was just me, my sister, her friends, and my boyfriend, and we were like, yeah, let's keep hanging out. So we're walking to his truck, her friend's truck, my sister's friend's truck. Sorry, I had to make sure you knew who I was talking about. And as we're walking there, she asked me, she was like, Mom was being weird, huh? And I was like, yes. And then I told her what I had seen on her phone. My sister's mouth drops. And I was like, it's just initials, babe. She then informs me that there is a school resource officer that worked with my mother, who they had been very suspicious of because of just how much time they were spending together inside and outside of school, helping my younger siblings with things, and just being really weird, like, just in general. And I was like, okay. And she was like, that's his initials. So I was like, what? The night, we ended up talking about it, like, the whole night, whatever. So I go back home, and then the next time I come hang out with my sister, we had just eaten dinner, and me and my boyfriend were sitting in, like, her living room or whatever, just, like, chatting it up. And then Mom calls to tell us, like, some kind of crazy story, whatever. So she's, like, FaceTiming with my sister. And thing about my mom, if it's late out, she's not going back outside. Like, if it's, like, after work or whatever, and she comes home, she's not going back out. It does not matter how serious it is, okay? So it was weird when you saw her, like, jump, and she looked down at her Apple Watch. So, like, obviously it, like, buzzed or something, and she looked, and she went, you know what? I kind of have to run to Kroger real quick, so I'm just gonna go. Which was weird because it was dark outside, and like I said, she does not go out. It was, like, summertime, dark outside, and I was like, what? Kroger? It's 8 o'clock at night. Then my mom does not even give my sister a chance to, like, say her goodbye. She literally just abruptly hangs up. Bitch was excited. So at this point, my sister's like, hey, I have a tracker on her phone she doesn't know about. So we're able to look at her location. She is in a different town, closer to where this man lives, mind you. And, it's around, at this point, it's around, like, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And she is in the parking lot of a golf course for a hot minute. Fun fact, my family has never golfed. We're not golfing people. So why would she be there, especially at, like, 9 o'clock at night? So we see that and we're like, weird. So I do a little digging. This man knows where that's at. Like, on his Facebook, it said he had been there. And I'm just, like, weary and, like, looking out for anything that I can find about, like, her, him, whatever. And then a few nights later, she also, like, my little sister's like, hey, yeah, mom went out, don't know where she is, blah, blah, blah. So we look at her location again, and she is near her house this time, but at, like, a middle school, like, track that you, like, walk around, again, at nighttime. And I was like, she don't walk. She don't do exercise. So I really wanted to know the truth. So I got one of those apps where you use, like, a fake number and text them. So I pretty much texted her and was like, I know. I, like, didn't let her know who I was. And I was like, I know all about him and where y'all been and what y'all been doing. Waited. Stupid woman. She messages me back on the app not knowing who I am. And she was like, how do you know? Stupid. Like, you think she would at least be like, deny. But she was like, no, how do you know and who are you? Eventually, she asks if it's me. Because she's like, I don't know anybody else that would do this. But how would I know? I don't even talk to her. But then I started to feel really bad because every single person, people that weren't even in the family, knew about it. And my dad didn't know. So I was torn. Like, do I tell him? Do I not tell him? Then I, like, boiled down to the fact, like, I would want to know. Then I make, like, the extremely hard decision to tell my dad everything. And just be like, yeah, everybody knows, you don't. And I just feel bad. Like, I feel like I should tell you so you at least have the option to do something, right? He starts freaking out, of course. Like, he's distraught. He's asking me to help him find a lawyer. By the way, right now, I'm only 23. So I was a little bit younger than this. He's asking me for help to find a lawyer, asking me if I will uproot my entire life, watch his kids when he divorces her, all this stuff, right? So I'm like, oh, okay. It's getting really serious. I think they're going to divorce. They end up fighting over it. She's denying absolutely everything, but he's asking people and everybody's like, yeah, we saw them. It also didn't help that she was driving his truck while he was gone, and he found, I don't know much about the TikTok guidelines. I want to say a rubber love glove. They're also making it everybody's business. Facebook's business, there's kids' business, whatever. Honestly, it was super embarrassing for them. I was just sitting there watching. Everybody knows I don't talk to either of them anymore because they're terrible parents and people. So anyway, the whole thing became very public very fast, and they also kept telling me and my siblings everything at the point we were like, hey, this is, like, between y'all and y'all's relationship. And I'm well aware that I told, but, like, now y'all hash it out. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for even getting involved, honestly, but I just thought he had the right to know. But anyway, eventually they sit us all down, and they're just like, hey, so we don't actually know what to do because they don't know how to regulate their emotions. We don't actually know what to do. So we're going to go ahead and let it go. Your mom promised she's not going to do it again. So, you know what? That's fine. All I heard was, I'm a cuck. Which, if that was the truth, who cares? Do you? But, like, let's stop telling Facebook. We've since realized that she's been cheating on him their entire marriage, and still is, with different men. Anyway, me and my siblings have accepted the fact that they love to argue, and that our feelings do not matter when it comes to what they really want, which is just chaos. Hey, so this doesn't have anything to do with the story, but I got my hair stuck in this, and it started to sizzle away. My boyfriend had to come save me. So, that's not, like, the craziest story I have, but it's pretty fresh on the noggin, because they just found out that she's cheating again. But I guess there's two morals to the story. One, my mom's a cheater, and my parents are messy. Two, look how hot I look. Alright, thanks.
So my friend took me out to Texas Roadhouse tonight for Valentine's Day slash my birthday, which is the day after Valentine's Day. And it just had me really reminiscing in like young love and just seeing all these couples and wondering how many of them were on a bad first date. And thinking about that, I remembered my worst bad date. I've told this story on here before, like when I first started my account, but I am now way more comfortable talking on camera, so we're just gonna do it again. So, the tragedy begins over coffee. In my early to mid 20s, I was super, super, super addicted to Starbucks, like everybody else at that time. And every day before I would head to the bar to open, I would hit Starbucks. And it was just like my ritual every single time I worked. Well, the summer of 2021, the town I live in had a bunch of like summer storms and flash flooding, like severe flash flooding. So the road that I would typically take to get to said Starbucks was closed. So I'm like, I have to find coffee somehow. So I guess I'll go to a local coffee spot. And thank God I did, because this was like my first taste of non-corporate coffee chains and it changed my life. But I head into town and there is a really well-known, like gorgeous coffee shop in my town. I go in, not expecting anything, and I'm greeted at the counter by a very, very handsome man. And also, before I even start this, the last time I've told this, everybody was like, that's what you get when you have, like, preferences on appearance and blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, I'm allowed to have my preferences. Everybody is. That doesn't mean I'm saying, like, oh, you don't fit this, bye. Like, I just love a really tall man. Little bit of, like, scraggle to him. A good porno stash. Like, let me have my stuff. This man was just very handsome. Chiseled face, if you will. Very, very, very tall. Had a cute little couple tattoos. And the first time we talked, it felt like a vibe. And if you know, you know. So obviously I'm like, well, never gonna go to Starbucks again. Just gonna come here for like the rest of time ever for this handsome man and his lattes. Amongst my friends, this became Barista Boy. He was just like this cute guy that I would like get excited to go see at a coffee shop. Over time, we start kikiing a little bit more, like a little more personal. We're talking about things about our lives while I'm there, like waiting for my drink. We find out we both went to Temple University, just little small things like that. He also starts giving me free drinks. So I'm at my friend's house one night and I'm on Instagram and I get a notification that somebody followed me. Typically, I don't look because I don't really care. But I caught it, I looked at it, and when I clicked the account, it was Barista Boy. I was like, oh my gosh, guys. So I went to message him. He had already messaged me. Long story short, we go back and forth. I'm like, how did you even find my Instagram? Because my like regular name is not really on my Instagram. My handle is very much not connected to who I am. And my name, Kylie, is spelled kind of differently, K-I-L-E-Y versus K-Y-L-I-E. I don't know, like I was just kind of surprised. Apparently his coworkers all sat down and looked for me on the internet and found my LinkedIn. This LinkedIn was a joke, by the way. Like I only had one because it was a requirement in one of my marketing classes. Whatever. We're going back and forth and he ends up asking me on a date, and obviously I'm like, little do I know, I would have been much happier and much more satisfied sitting on my couch with a Red Bull and some pizza bagels. So, whatever, a couple days go by. It's the day of the date. Okay, so we agreed to meet in Westchester, Pennsylvania, to get dinner around, like, I think 7:30 or 8 o'clock is what we originally agreed on. So, the day of the date, he texts me, right? It's like 2 in the afternoon. And he's like, hey, I'm heading into Westchester now. Do you want to catch an Uber with me? And I was like, now? Like, why is he going now? Either way, I was like, no, I'm good. I'll meet you there tonight. Because regardless of that being weird, I do not let men drive me on first dates. It's just not who I am. I'll have a girlfriend drop me off, or I'll drive myself, or I'll call my own Uber. Already, I'm feeling a little funky, like, and I'm just, So I get dropped off in Westchester, and as my friends are, like, pulling up to drop me off, he texts me. Just, I hope you like hummus. Smiling face emoji. I remember reading it and being like, but whatever. He was fine, so whatever. Another side note, I have been in the service industry, for 11 years. I have served in fine dining. I've served at like sports bars, family restaurants. I worked as a barista, like you name it. But at that time, I had been bartending for a bit, so I was like hypersensitive to people being intoxicated. So I opened the door to the restaurant and I see him, and I see him standing up. Now, mind you, this is a big boy. Okay, he's like 6'3". He's like 6'3". And so when he stands up, I immediately can like look at him and we make eye contact, and I kid you not, I immediately know that he is blacked out. But because of who I am, I was like, no, just go, just go. So I go and watch him struggle to pull my chair out for like 60 seconds, which sounds really short, but it's not when you're seeing this act go on. All right, just gonna take a seat at the table. Okay, we are already talking about all of the dirty laundry you have. He tells me his family hates him, that all his friends hate him. He has, like, you know, always had a really bad problem with drinking, but it's not that bad. The bigger issue might be is that, you know, he has court soon because he has to go for a drunken hit and run. But, you know, there's no really telling on, you know, what's going to happen with that. So, but you know, it's not bad. In fact, I'm sober. Like, I was, like, literally sitting here, like, like, internally. Like, it was just the craziest, like, just lie after lie after lie after, like, it was just wild. So at this point, it's been, like, 15 minutes. All of this has been only in 15 minutes. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, like, please excuse me. And I get up and run to the bathroom and essentially text my friends being like, abort mission, like, somebody pick me up or like get me out of here. Like, this is such a waste of my fucking time. And I was mad, right? And I think it's fine to feel that way, especially when someone wastes your entire night. You know, my makeup was slay, my hair was slay, like, everything was perfect. And I'm so mad because that night my makeup, my hair, and my outfit were so good. And I've never been able to replicate that look. But anyway, so I do my stuff in the bathroom. And when I open the door to walk out, my server is standing at the door waiting for me. I was like, hi, I'm like, what's going on? And she was like, yeah, is that guy your date? And I was like, yeah, why? She was like, well, he's passed out cold at the table. I was like, passed out? She was like, yeah, like his face is on the table. He's passed out. I'm like, great, thank you. Thank you so much. I walk over to the table and I shake this man awake. This giant man I have to, like, in the booth. So he finally comes to, he's like, ugh. And I'm like, listen, I'm leaving, but because of the person I am, I was like, you have to call an Uber and I have to see you call the Uber and I also have to see you get in the Uber because I know how fucked up he is and I don't know, it's just how I am as a person. So he's like, yeah. And he's, you know, like holding up his phone, like, I don't know, there was just nothing, like, hot air in there, but he's like looking at his phone. He's like, like huffing and puffing. And finally I'm like, did you call your Uber? He was like, it's just not working. Like, I don't know how it's just not working. And I'm like, what do you mean, my guy? You literally called an Uber and used an Uber to get here. I, like, snatch his phone out of his hands because I'm mad at this point. And, my man was searching Uber into his Spotify playlist search bar. Finally, I just was like, cool, fuck you. I am going to leave. I hope you are well, I guess, but also, again, like, I didn't say any of this. I felt really bad for leaving, if I'm being totally honest. But this is how I feel now. So, I go out with my girlfriends in Westchester. We get super fucked up. I was sober. I'm sober now. I was not sober at this time, obviously. And I wake up the next morning, you know, I'm, like, getting all my stuff together. This bitch texted me at 4 a.m. saying, hey, did you get home okay? Yeah, I made it home okay. Did you make it home okay? Like, did you make it home okay? Oh my God. And to this day, I see him in our local dive bar because I still go out sometimes because, I don't know, alcohol doesn't stop me from going to bars. And, yeah, he'd be there all day, just fucked up. It's sad. But taught me my standards for first dates.
This is part one of the craziest stories I've ever had happen to me in my life. So I used to be an assistant principal of a cosmetology school called Empire. This was like 7 years ago. And all my students were anywhere from the age of 18 to like 50, 60 years old. So I was responsible for interviewing them, for showing them the school, for signing them up, helping them with financial aid and all that good stuff. So one day I had this lady come in and her husband came to the interview with her. So her and her husband were extra lovey-dovey. Every other word was like, baby this, honey that. It just seemed very fake, very fake. And he was Middle Eastern, and he's the one that kept interrupting and asking all the questions and really trying to dominate the interview. And I totally get that because I'm Albanian. So Albanian men are very dominating, as you, I'm sure, know. So purposely, I kept interrupting him, and I'm like, you know, she really has to answer these questions. Like, this interview is for her. She's the one that's going to be attending the school. So I remember calling my coworker over because there was something, it's all about the blonde ladies, don't worry. There was something that was just not sitting well with me. So I called her in and I'm like, can you double interview them? Because I just have like a bad gut feeling in my stomach, but I just want you to double check it. So she went in, she's like, I mean, they seem odd, but like everything seems fine. I'm like, okay. So I approved her into the school, helped her get in, and then about a month later, she comes running into my office. And she's like, Miss Maggie, I gotta talk to you. And she shuts the door behind her. So I'm like, what's going on? She was like, my husband is very abusive, and this morning he put something to my neck, and I thought that today was gonna be my last day here on earth. And I have to be careful with what I say because I don't want TikTok to penalize me. So you guys just need to read between the lines. So she's like, basically we had $10,000 in a jar. I took the $10,000 and I left. I packed a bag and I'm not going back. So now I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I knew it. I knew something was off. But of course, I just have to go into like problem solving mode. So now I start asking her questions and I'm like, is this the first time something like this has happened? Because now I want to know, like, is this just like a toxic relationship that you're in and this is what you guys do? Or is this something that's never happened before and it's serious? And she's like, it has happened before, but I'm really serious this time. I've been trying to escape for some time. So now I start calling up shelters because I'm like, we need to get her out of the situation right away. So thank God I had some connections with the shelters. So I call them and they're like, oh, we can get her a bed in 3 months. I'm like, did you not just hear what I said? Like, I need to get her in there by tonight. So I ended up talking to a higher up that I knew there. And he was like, listen, if she can get here by 3 p.m., then I'll give her a bed today. I'm like, okay. So I let her leave school early. And I'm like, you need to get there right away. So the next day she comes in and she was thanking me so much. She's like, that's the best sleep that I've had in such a long time. So I felt so good about myself. And mind you, out of all days, on this specific day, my principal was out and I had HR there from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, coming to check out the school. So I was running the show that day. So about 2 hours later, she comes running into my office and she's like, Miss Maggie, there's something I didn't tell you. I'm like, what? What now? What is it? So again, I really need you guys to read between the lines here because I don't want to get flagged. So basically, she was like, his family is part of an organization in the Middle East that the U.S. had a very big problem with. Their name started with an I, or starts with an I. And his cousins were on the way to whatever area in the Middle East to do trainings for that specific group. So she's like, I called the airport to report their names and report where they were going and what they were doing. So now they're in custody and they got arrested. So her husband was blowing up her phone. He must have texted her like 100 times. He's like, today's the day that you take your last breath. And he was like, I am coming to that school, dragging you out by your hair. And if anybody in that school tries to stop me, today's gonna be the last day that they live also. So I'm like, are you kidding me? You just happened to forget to tell me this? Like, how do you leave this part out of the story? So she's like, and he is armed and he's an Uber driver. I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm like, we gotta shut the school down. So I'm calling the cops. I'm trying to fill HR in on everything that's going on. And then outside of the school was all glass. So I ran outside to shut all the gates down because the gates were metal. And As I'm pulling all the gates down, of course, I turn around and I am getting a ticket on my car. So I run over to the cop and I'm like, listen, I can't explain what's happening right now. You can't give me this ticket. I'm going through hell right now. So after I shut the gates, I run inside and she shows me her phone. He texts her and says, tell that bitch she already got the ticket. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, by the way, now he had it out for me. I missed this part of the story because the day that I sent her to the shelter, the day before, he had come into the school at 5 o'clock and he's like, where's my wife? Making a scene. So I was playing dumb and I was like, what do you mean? Just call her or text her. So he was like, you're the assistant principal of this school and you don't know if your students were in or not? And I'm like, no, I have 1,000 students in here. Like, no, I don't know if she was here or not today. So he already had it out for me. So now I'm like, so I'm just like, what am I gonna do? I feel like I had to hide her. So it was so bad that I literally started texting like my dad, my best friend. I was just texting the closest people in my life saying, I can't really explain everything that's happening right now, but if you never hear from me again, just know that I love you very much. Because you really never know what the hell's gonna happen. So at this point, the cops come barging in. I'm trying to tell them the story. She's trying to tell them the story. We're talking super quick because obviously he's outside. So now I'm like, what kind of car does he drive? So the cops, half of them stay in the school and the other half go out looking for him. One of the cops comes running back in and they went on a chase to go find him because the cops saw the car, they went to his window, and he did in fact have a very big GUN in the car. So at this point, it's time for the students to be released from school. So the teachers start letting them out in the hallway, and I come out like a raging lunatic. I'm like, everybody get back inside your classrooms and stay away from the windows. So obviously they don't know what's going on. So they're like, Miss Becky, I can't be late for work. And I'm like, I said, get the fuck back inside. That was not a cute sight for HR to see, but whatever. So the cops gave us the clear. That night forward for about a week, we had 3 guys coming to the school every single night with bats and masks on, I guess just waiting to see her. And obviously we had to hire armed security to be at the school during all hours of operation. So the next day I had to have a conversation with the student and I'm like, listen, obviously we are here and we will do everything we can for you, but it is not safe for all of our other students and for you to be here. So unfortunately, you need to be expelled from the school. But where do you have any family that you can move to? So her daughter lived in Ohio, I believe. I don't remember exactly where, or Virginia, I'm not sure. So we helped her get a plane ticket and she left that same night and I never spoke to her since. So I don't know what happened to her. I don't know what happened to him, but it was definitely a crazy, scary, and very memorable day. So if this somehow gets back to her, I hope and pray that all is well and you are living your best life.
I heard y'all like my story times. I got another one. This is the time my brother's ex harassed me for 2 years, about 2 years. And she still won't admit it till this day, but I know it's her. And by the end of the story, y'all gonna know it's her too. Anyways, my brother had this girlfriend, and I didn't even really know her like that when he was dating her. But when they broke up, all he would say was, she's crazy, she's this, she's that. Side note, okay? She followed me on Instagram, but that's like all I really knew of her. Okay, skip to, they break up. I'm talking to this one boy. Me and my first baby daddy, we were in a long-term relationship, and then we broke up. So the first person I talked to was this light-skinned boy, and we're just gonna call him Jimmy. Anyways, me and Jimmy, we never dated. We never did nothing like that. We would literally just have sleepovers. We had like at least 3 maybe, and then did the adult stuff. Anyways, one time I reposted him for a follow, to follow. Like, remember we used to do like shout outs for follows and stuff. And I don't know if this is when those two interacted, but I know this is how she got the Instagram. I posted him, whatever. And that was it. A few months go by, and me and him, like I said, it was on and off talking. We didn't date, nothing like that. We would do little sleepovers, things like that, right? So anyways, fast forward, my brother calls me, and he was like, hey, didn't you talk to this boy? And he sends me the picture of him. I said, yeah, I did. That was the first boy I was talking to after me and my first BD broke up. He was like, can you explain to me why my ex is dating him? Oh, I forgot to throw this fact in. They live in Miami. I'm from Tampa. Him and his ex live in Miami. Anyways, my brother would come down every, like 2 times a month. He would come down and he would party. Like, he made his own little life down in Tampa, even though he lived in Miami, and that's where she's from. That's why it was so weird. He goes, how did he meet her? I was like, bro, I don't even know. I was like, who's your girlfriend? And he sends me her page, his ex, I mean. He sends me her page, and I'm like, oh yeah, she does follow me. I was like, well, I used to talk to him, nothing serious, but we did used to talk. I'm not sure how she got her Instagram. Like, I shouted him out a while back, but I don't know. Like, would she do that? And he was like, yeah, she's obsessed with me. I don't understand how she even found a nigga down here. Anyways, the reason he found this out is because she was coming down to Tampa now to see her boyfriend. And he comes down to Tampa, and we're all in the same circle. So all the girls that I really know, that boy knows. So, like, he was so mad because it was like, I have my own life in Tampa, and she kind of just found somebody in my life, and now she's surrounded by me. So he was pissed. Anyways, he messages her. He's like, this is so weird. That's someone my sister used to talk to, and now you're dating him. Like, leave me alone. Like, I broke up with you, and I have a whole life in Tampa, and now you're trying to make a life in Tampa. Like, that's so weird. I did not message this girl whatsoever. I did not care. Like, I had no type of care in the world if she was talking to him. Like, but I knew my brother was upset about it. He probably still did have feelings. And also, it is weird talking to your sister's ex. So anyways, she ends up messaging me that same day and was like, I don't know why you're so mad at, why you're trying to be mad at me. He told me that all you did was, and yeah, like like you didn't mean nothing. So I didn't even DM her back because, one, I'm not mad. I don't care. My brother asked me a question, I answered it. I said, yes, I used to talk to him. Well, what about it? He's mad. He's mad that his ex-girlfriend followed him all the way to Tampa and found somebody that his sister used to talk to. Like, that is weird when you really think about it. And 2, if he's trying to make you feel comfortable by saying that's all we did, I don't care to be like, no, we did this, like, no, I'll let you think that. I don't care. I'm a lot older than her anyway, so it's just like, it wasn't. Anyways, that must have bothered her that I just didn't answer. I didn't care. I just blocked her and moved on with my life. Months go by. They end up breaking up because my brother starts hanging out with her again. And my brother is very toxic. Once he sees that you're moved on, he does everything in his power to either make you cheat or something, you know. And that's exactly what happened. So that boy Jimmy messages me like, hey, what's up? How's it going? I'm single. He's single at the time. So we start talking. So you know me, I'm entertaining the conversation. That night, I went out with my friends, so I got a little drunk. So I texted him. I said, hey, like, where you at? You want to hang out? He was like, yeah, like, come over, blah, 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 blah. But y'all, usually if I get too drunk, I always pass out. And that's exactly what happened. I was supposed to Uber over there, and I passed out. I got drunk, and I passed out, so I never went over there. Y'all, tell me why the next day, or a few days later, this is when it starts. I get this long message. Not a long message, but like a whole bunch of messages. Like, you 304, you're an eater, I'm gonna beat you, all this stuff. Like, he don't want you. You think he wants you so bad, but he does not care about you. And I'm like, what? And mind you, at this time, I'm going through it with my love of my life, my actual love of my life. So I'm thinking this is about him. And I'm like, who? I'm actually mad because I'm like, who? Y'all, she says, that's why you wanted him a few days ago and he didn't want you. But in reality, I fell asleep on him. So as soon as she said that, I go, I know exactly who this is. And I know exactly who she's talking about. So I answered back and I said, babe, I don't want him. I don't want him. Mind you, I'm the one who fell asleep. Like, I would have been over there and you would have, like, And I didn't even know y'all were dating. I said, I didn't know y'all were even still dating or whatever. He hit me up to begin with. Like, what the fuck? You don't even know who this is. Don't pretend like you know who this is. I'm gonna beat your ass, da-da-da-da. So I'm just like, okay, you're mad. I'm a girl. I've been through the same shit. So I'm like, okay, you're mad, whatever. I block her because I'm just like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to talk to that man anymore. I don't like drama. I was already going through it with the actual nigga I like. So it's just like, yeah. Anyways, it doesn't end there. It does not end there. No, it doesn't. For 2 years, I get the most terrible text messages you could think of, talking about me, talking about my kids, but they don't stop there. Anybody I tagged on my story, like my friends, they would go and message them a whole bunch of crazy shit. They message my brothers, they message my mom, they message anybody I would tag. They would go through my friends list and be like, oh, you're Ohana's friend, she's such an eater. This went on for 1.5 years, almost 2 years, y'all. Like anytime I went out that morning, if I tagged, I would warn them. I'd be like, if I tag you in a story and you get crazy texts in the morning, just ignore it. It's some bitch, you just don't like me. Anyways, my brother would still hang out with her, and I would tell him she's the fake pages. Oh yeah, because I kept blocking them and they kept making more and more and more. At least 10 fake pages went by, y'all. And he would be like, it can't be her. I took her phone and I went through it and there's nothing. I said, she probably deletes them. It's her. Because the only reason I know it's for sure her is because the first message I ever got, excuse me, I'm baking. That's why it looks like this. Anyways, y'all, the first message I ever got from her, she said, you tried to talk to him a few nights ago and he didn't want you. That has stuck in my head because that was the only boy I talked to a few nights before then. So they tried, like my brother became cool with her again. I don't know fucking how, when they actually, oh yeah. She ends up having this baby. They get, later on in the future, she gets pregnant. She has this baby. So now she's permanently in Tampa. That is weird. You followed your ex all the way from Miami to Tampa, talking to his sister. The whole situation is weird. So eventually I started getting mad at my brother because I said, you know what? You're purposely ignoring the fact that it's her and she's written me just disgusting messages. Of course we would laugh about it because they were funny. Like the girl is very she's very good at chewing people, man. And she takes the time out to send messages, like very thorough, thought out messages. And I'm like, so, and she knew information that like people wouldn't know. So like, I was like, it has to be her. Anyways, sorry, I'm looking for something. So eventually she harassed me so much that I just stopped answering because I kept blocking him. She was making new pages. The last thing I texted her, I said, don't ever come around me because I know who you are. So if I ever see you, I'm going to beat your ass right then and there. Don't ever come around me. I don't care if you're with my brothers because I know it's you, Allie. And I said her name. This girl has never been around me since. Ever. If they even mention I'm coming, the girl ain't going. Because she knows it's her and she knows I know it's her. Nobody believes me, but it's her. But ever since I name dropped that name, never got a message again from a fake page. Well, thank y'all for watching.
This is my college day from hell. It's 2 a.m. You wake up to your roommate coming home. She turns all the lights on and is on FaceTime with her friend, talking shit on you because she thinks you're asleep. She finally turns the lights off, gets into bed, and you think, great, I can go to sleep now. No. She turns on her iPad and watches a show out loud. No AirPods. It's 3 a.m. So you listen to it all night because she falls asleep with it on. And then finally it's 7 a.m. and you get ready for work. You're getting ready for work and she turns over to you and asks you to be quieter. Ironic. You go to work, no complaints, works great. You get back from work and you go to your first class of the day. You think it's gonna be easy because it's just review, you have a test next week. Nope, the test is today and you're not prepared. You fail the test, by the way, but then you go back to your room and you're relaxing before your next test and you hear water running from the bathroom, but no one's in the bathroom. You go and check. The bathroom is flooding from the sink, overflowing, and it's now flooding into your room. In a panic, you run up to housing and they tell you, it'll take 48 hours for someone to come fix it. No. Someone does finally come in the next couple hours, but because of this, you missed your second class. And you get an email that you have missed too many days of this class, and if you miss another one, you will fail. Great. You go back to work. Work is great. No complaints. You get back from work, go to take a shower, realize your roommate has spilled your new shampoo all over the floor of the shower. Great. You text her asking for her to clean it up. She now goes off on you. You are a bitch and acting like she's your maid. So sorry. I now clean it up myself, and I'm very distraught that my new shampoo is now gone. I decided to go out that night with my friends to a party because my situationship said he was going to be there. I see him. I do not talk to him because he's surrounded by other girls the whole night. I go back home, go to bed. 2 in the morning, my roommate comes back home, turns the lights back on. This happened every single day.
So today in school, I was accused of something that I never thought I would ever be accused of ever. This is going to include teachers Mrs. A, Mrs. B, and Mr. C, just to kind of like keep names private. So anyways, me and my boyfriend are friends with this one teacher, Mrs. A. And at dismissal, like at the end of the day, we have 2 bus shifts, shift 1 and shift 2, and like everyone else for sports and walking and car riders are dismissed at wave 2. So, me and my boyfriend go to Mrs. A's classroom when first shift is called pretty much every day and talk to her until second shift and we have to leave. Now, a couple of days ago, this teacher, Mrs. B, saw us in the hallway, like walking toward her classroom because we meet up in the hallway and then we walk the rest of the way there. And she was like asking us all these questions, like where we came from, where we were going, what we were doing. And we told her like, oh, like we're just going to Mrs. A's classroom. And she didn't believe us, so she escorted us there. Literally her words. Sees us again today in the hallway walking towards Mrs. A's classroom, doesn't say anything. Now when second shift is called, me and Ryan walk up the stairs to Mr. C's classroom, who we are also friends with, just for a minute before he leaves and goes on the bus because he's not staying after today. And Mrs. B is standing there talking to him, telling him that me and my boyfriend wander the halls and do whatever between bus shifts. And they were like asking like, what are you doing? Like, and we were like, we go to Miss A's classroom. And they were like, okay, so what do you do when you leave there? And we were like, we stay there. And then they were like, okay, so like where do you go after that? And I was like, when second shift is called, we come up here and we like say hi and then we go wherever we're going. And Mr. C was like, yeah, but you don't come up here until second shift was called. Like, what do you do between the time that you're in Mrs. A, like you go to Miss A's classroom to when you come here? And I was like, we stay in her classroom. And at this point, like, Ryan is going to be late for his bus. So he starts walking away. And I start walking away too because, like, I need to go get ready for practice. And then he's like, oh, how come as soon as we're accusing you of something, you both start walking away sheepishly? And Ryan keeps walking because, like, he's going to be late to his bus. But I turn back around and I'm like, no. Like, we have to leave or, like, he's going to miss the bus and I'm going to be late to practice. Like, I was like, we don't go anywhere. We don't do anything. We stay in her classroom and we talk to her. And they were like, sure. Okay, I promise you, like, me and my boyfriend are one of the last couples that you want to accuse of going and like doing something somewhere because like we're not like that, okay? And like Mrs. B, like if she wants to like think that, like I understand because like she doesn't know us that well, like whatever. But Mr. C, like we're both pretty close with him, like he should know us. And like I'm surprised that he wasn't on our side and wasn't like No, like, they probably wouldn't do that. Like, they're probably literally just going there and talking to her. But, like, I understand their concern completely because, like, they're teachers and they have to be, like, looking out for that kind of stuff. But, like, not me and my boyfriend. Like, we've never even kissed in school, okay? And, like, we're not freaks like that either. Like, and you gotta be one heck of a freak to not be able to keep it in your pants for an entire school day. Like, that's genuine insanity, honestly, at that point. Like, so yeah, I was just, like, very confused. Like, I don't know. Like, I understand Mrs. B, like I said, but, like, Mr. C, like, no. Like, why? What? So tomorrow, Mrs. A, I have her for a first period. I'm gonna be like, babe, I have some tea for you. And I'm gonna need you to, like, clear some things up and, like, let them know that we legitimately do just sit here and talk to you, and we're not going and making out under the stairs or whatever other things they think we're doing that I don't even want to think about. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my story time. Bye.
No one ever talks about how weird and hilarious it is to have people add you on Facebook who you used to, like, have a crush on in middle school, but now they're like, whoa, and you've, you know, continually leveled up. So glad you didn't follow through on that little crush, baby girl. Okay. I have a bad first date story time that literally just happened to me, so we're gonna treat this like it's a FaceTime and I'm calling you to tell you about it. Okay. So basically, I have just gotten on the dating apps again because I was just in a relationship for over a year and we broke up. So I'm trying to, like, get back out there a little bit, you know, the whole thing. And I started talking to this guy. Like, I thought he looked cute. He's a nurse. So I was like, okay, like, he's got to be caring. But yeah, so it was a coffee date. We agreed to meet up at 2 o'clock today. And we had been texting about it. Like, I confirmed this morning. We were still doing it, whatever. So I had to work a booth at the farmer's market this morning, and he knew that we were talking about it, and he asked me while I was there, he's like, hey, can we actually meet at 1:45? I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, this ends at 1, so, like, it was kind of like, oh, you're, like, cutting it close for me now. Like, I was like, oh, I gotta go do some makeup and get ready still, but okay, we can push it up a little bit, whatever. Like, I'm spontaneous, I'm fun, I'm cool. And so we agreed to meet at 1:45. I get there at 1:45. I text him that I'm there, and he's like 2 minutes. He gets there at 1:50, so he's already late to him asking to meet earlier, so that was awesome. And then he walks up to my car. He's like, oh, I'm here. He walks up to my car. He's totally wearing a t-shirt and joggers. I don't know if you can see what I'm wearing, but I'm wearing like jeans and, like, did my makeup, I have a sweater on, like, I'm not wearing joggers. Like, this is a first date. Like, what the heck? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I was kind of shocked that he was wearing that, but he was cute and he looked like his pictures, and I was like, you know what? Okay. Like, I was trying to figure out, like, if this gave me the ick or not. I don't know. And so I give him, like, kind of like an awkward side hug. Oh, hey, whatever. He's kind of cute. So I was like, eh. But, so we get to the counter, he pays, I said, oh, thank you. We're, like, talking about what kind of coffee we normally get, and then we go and we sit back in this room with these couches, whatever. It's only us in this, like, room, and he went and got our drinks, and then we're, like, drinking them, and we got there at 1:50 because he was late, and we're, like, having a decent conversation. Like, I was enjoying, like, talking to him, get to know him, like, we're kind of having, like, a little bit of, like, joking banter, like, whatever, you know, talking about our lives, the whole thing. I thought it was going pretty well. Like, I felt like we had a little bit of chemistry, which I don't always find with every Hinge date you go on. So I was having a good time. And then 2:35, he's like, hey, I really hate to do this. Like, I gotta go. What? 45 minutes? Like, hello? And then I was like, oh, does he think, like, is he not enjoying himself? Like, I don't know. Like, now I'm really like, oh, fuck. Like, maybe I was thinking that it was going really well and it wasn't. And he was like, I really enjoyed, like, meeting you. Like, do you want to hang out again? Whatever. And I was like, yeah, like, I do. I don't know if he was just saying that, you know what I mean? But he was like, yeah, I gotta go to a workout class at Orange Theory. At 2:45. It was 2:35. He was like at 2:45. That's why you wanted to push our date back a little bit, or forward, is so he could go to his workout class at Orange Theory instead of stay and hang out with me on our first date. It's awesome. Yeah, that was, honestly, like, I'm still trying to, like, figure out how that makes me feel, because, like, I'm trying to be all, like, oh, I'm a baddie, whatever, like, yada yada, but, like, that kind of hurt my feelings, to be honest, like, because either, like, he wasn't enjoying himself, and he was just trying to, like, peace out real quick, like, a little Irish goodbye, I guess, or he's just really rude. I don't know, and, like, it's confusing, because I thought he was attractive, and we were getting along well, and, like, I put in effort to, like, put makeup on and, like, rush over there and everything, so it was just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. So that's awesome. That just happened. Awesome. I'm so glad I'm back in the dating realm. Woo! What's up, Nashville? Bad first Hinge date story time part 2, I guess, because I've been on probably 30 million Hinge dates and they're all bad in their own way. So I figured, since a lot of people had comments on my last Hinge story time, that I would say another one. So let's pretend like this is a FaceTime and I spill my guts to the internet. So I just recently got out of a year-long relationship, unfortunately, and I started to feel a little bit lonely around New Year's, so I re-downloaded Hinge because I wanted a New Year's kiss. Sue me! So I started talking to some guys on there, and I found this one guy. His name was Austin. I don't care. I'm actually name dropping them. And we started talking a little bit, and within the first couple messages, he said, oh, I don't really get on here a lot. Do you want to text? Here's my number. And I love when people do stuff like this. I don't know if other people think it's too forward. I would prefer that to asking for my Snapchat, because I'm 25. I'm not giving you my Snapchat. Goodbye. So we start texting, whatever, just a little bit back and forth, getting to know each other. And it was New Year's Eve, and he texted me and was saying, oh, what are you gonna do for New Year's, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, I'm going to my neighbor's best friend's party that she's throwing. What are you up to? And he said, oh, well, I'm new to the area, so I'm probably just gonna stay in and paint and chill out. And I was like, oh, slide in there, you know. This is kind of crazy, but I was like, well, I mean, if you're new to the area and you don't have anything to do, I felt like he kind of insinuated he wanted me to say this, but I was like, you're welcome to come to this party with me, but you're gonna know nobody, ha ha ha, whatever. And he said, oh, okay, cool, I'm down. I'm not gonna know anybody in the area anyways, because I just moved here. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So he planned to meet at this party where there were a lot of other people, and we would meet for the first time. Okay, yay. So 9 o'clock rolls around, and I'm at this house party with my neighbors and my friends, and I told everybody what was going on, and I asked the lady whose house it was, and I was like, hey, just making sure this is okay. And she said yes, and they all were like, okay, just like give us like the signal if it's not going well, just like, you know. So I was like, okay guys, just keep an eye out for me. So he shows up to the party, and yeah, like, I thought he was pretty cute. He looked like his pictures, not a catfish situation, whatever. It was a little awkward at first, but isn't it always, you know? So he walks up, gives awkward side hug. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. And we're immediately doing the thing where you write what you want to leave behind for the last year on a plate, and then you smash it on the driveway. So immediately, like, I'm like, oh, come over here and we'll write on this plate and smash it together, whatever. So we're just chatting. It's pretty casual. We're playing some drinking games and other stuff like that too. And like, increasingly, like, we're getting a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more banter, and then just out of nowhere, it's just like full on, he like love bombed me, like I wasn't expecting it at all too. Like, we were just sitting there, and he's like, oh, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. there's a line for the bathroom, so I could see the line for the bathroom. And I'm sitting there on my phone, and he texts me from the bathroom, and he's like, or the line for the bathroom, I think I'm falling for you. What? This is like 2 hours after he got there too, and I was like, he kept saying these really intense things, and I didn't know what to say, so I kept just being like, oh, you're silly, haha, like, what? And so he was like, I'm falling for you, I really like you, and I was like, oh, hi, like, thanks, you're silly. And then it was getting close to the ball drop time or whatever, so we start doing the grape thing where you eat the grapes under the table, and it's supposed to mean, I don't exactly know, it's something like you're supposed to date for whatever. I don't like grapes though, it's a texture thing for me. So we were under the table eating the grapes, and I was like, I can't do this like anymore. And he grabbed my cup of grapes and was like, I believe in superstitions, like we need to do this so we can be together. And he starts eating all my grapes. Anyway, so he starts doing some like crazy insane stuff like this, and I'm like, I just wanted a New Year's kiss though. So anyways, the ball drops, and we were each other's New Year's kiss. A little peck action, you know what I mean? And then afterwards, we were kind of just hanging out. It's after midnight at this point in time, and like, I'm feeling lonely. So I was like, you want to come to my house? So that happened, whatever. And he stayed over the next day, and we watched like 7 episodes of Abbott Elementary. That show is hilarious, by the way. I love that show. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. But everything was going pretty well. We were having a good hangout. We went through the entire, it's not discography because it's not music, I don't know, the catalog of Webkins, and we pointed out like which ones that we had, and we stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning talking. But this was just like trauma dump session. I was like, I'm being love bombed right now, I can tell, but it's nice to connect with someone when you haven't in so long. I don't know. So anyways, that all happened. We started going on like a couple dates to get to know each other. We went to the movies, all the things. And then he was just like opening up to me about like mega crazy stuff, like telling me that he has a really addictive personality, and he maxed out 2 credit cards when he first went to college because he was that addicted to sports betting. Like, just random stuff like that. Or he was bringing up his ex-girlfriend and talking about their relationship, and oh, you don't do this, and blah blah blah. If you bring up an ex that quickly, goodbye, next. I knew he was love bombing me, but like, I wanted attention. That's so bad. But anyways, so I thought things were going like decently well, and I enjoyed spending time with him. And he just like got really distant for a week, which I don't care. I don't text throughout the day or anything. Like, we're both working adults. I'm not gonna be like, where are you? But it's nice to check in once or twice, being like, oh, I hope you had a good day, like, what'd you do, whatever. I feel like that's common courtesy. I don't think that's a crazy ask or anything. And he was like, hey, I'm gonna be like really busy at work this week, like, I'm sorry for lack of communication, whatever, which I appreciated. And I was like, oh, like, no worries, I don't mind, because we were supposed to see each other. Long story short, he's giving me the runaround. He keeps being like, oh, like, sorry for not talking to you for 2 days, and I was busy, and whatever, I'll come over Thursday. Thursday rolls around, he's like, oh, I gotta do whatever. And I'm just like, if you're not feeling it, you can be honest, King. Like, you don't, like, quit getting my hopes up, I guess, to hang out. I don't know. And then he randomly sends me something, like, after he's like, hey, I'm really sorry for not being very responsive, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, to be honest, I thought you were doing a slow fade out, which it's fine if you are. Just let me know that. Just communicate with me. I'm not scary. I'm not gonna bite your head off. Like, not everything works out, you know? But he was like, yeah, no, not at all. I'm not trying to make you think that way. Don't think that I'm ghosting you. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he texts me and he's like, I just did a ton of fungi. I'm peaking right now. What? Like, sorry for ghosting you. Oh yeah, I just did a ton of explicit substances. I'm peaking. What are you talking about? And then that was the last thing that he ever said to me. He never spoke to me again. I low-key am like, did he come to like a realization while he was on psychedelics? He was like, no, we're not vibing, like. Anyway, so we had plans, like he was gonna take me to lunch to make up for him like not talking to me, and then he did a bunch of psychedelics and then never spoke to me again a couple days ago. This happened a couple days ago. I love Hinge. I love it so much.
We'll be right back with Honey, I Shrunk My Testicles. Shop the pumpkin spice extravaganza at your local Old Navy. The weather is cooling down, but the deals are hot, hot, hot. So come.
Okay, I wanted to give an update to my bad Hinge date story time that I told a couple weeks ago about the nurse that showed up in a t-shirt and joggers and then left 45 minutes in to go to an Orange Theory workout class. So I had posted that video and a lot of people in the comments were telling me to give him another chance, like the one that I'm responding to right here. So I was like, you know what, like, okay, maybe I'm misreading this. He's possibly a busy guy, like I'll give him another chance. So he actually didn't text me until the day after we had the date. So I thought that he was ghosting me because typically people, anybody that I've dated has followed up on the same day being like, oh, I had a good time, it was nice to meet you. He didn't respond until like 5 o'clock on the day afterwards, so I thought that he was ghosting me anyway, so I was like, okay. But he responded and he was like, hey, I had a really nice time with you, I'm sorry I had to cut it short, let's plan a date sometime next week. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. I have to go on a cruise for like 8 days, but after that, I'm available. So he said, okay, let's schedule for the Monday when you get back from your cruise. So I also thought it was a little strange, but he didn't want to text in between that time to get to know me. He was just like, I will text you closer to the date time. Okay, so it gets to the Monday that I'm back from the cruise, and I wasn't really expecting him to reach out to me, but he did at 9 o'clock in the morning to confirm our date, which I appreciated. He was like, hey, just wanted to make sure we were still on for later. I hope your cruise was good. And I saw that, and that filled me with hope. I was excited. I was like, oh, okay, like, I guess we are going on another date. So I responded back an hour later. I was at work. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds great. I'm still good for tonight. What do you want to do and where do you want to go? I feel like it's not a crazy question to ask. And I was waiting all day anxiously because I was excited and happy or whatever, like for him to say anything. And as the time started ticking and it started getting closer to like 4 p.m., no response, 5 p.m., I'm like, oh, okay. So 5:17 p.m., he says, it's gonna have to be another day. Doesn't apologize, doesn't explain why he's canceling, he just cancels. And the level of rage that I felt, I don't even know why. Like, I'm just so over dating and everything, and he got my hopes up all day. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he checked and then canceled at the time that it should have been. Whatever. This is what I get for giving a chance to somebody that I knew didn't deserve it, but everybody in my TikTok comments was telling me, oh, he's a good guy, whatever. No, he's not. Follow your intuition. Like, oh my gosh, he was so inconsiderate. I should have seen that anyways. But, so I said to him, after that, I was like, I'm not going on another date with this inconsiderate person. But I said something like, oh, that's disappointing. Get back to me when you have a specific day and time and activity in mind. And he immediately responded and said, sounds good, and thumbs up my message. And that was last Monday, and today is Tuesday of next week, and he definitely has not reached out to me. So he ghosted me, and that's what I get for listening to TikTok comments and giving a lame-o loser a second chance. So